In case you were wondering, it was not easy. I was exhausted, and this was the state of my shop when I walked in the next day. Like I mentioned, I try to get all the glue squeeze out off, but sometimes I miss a spot or two, which is easy to clean up with a paint scraper, and I could work on getting all those panels to their final dimensions. When I did the initial milling process, I made each board slightly wider than I actually needed for the full width panel. So after the glue up, I could joint one edge and then bring all the panels to their final width at the table saw. This isn't really necessary. You could just glue up to the final size you need, but I find there are very slight inconsistencies in width after gluing up. Maybe it's due to clamp pressure or cumulative error in the milling process. I don't know, I just find I get better results this way. The last step to get all these parts to size is to cut them all to length. So happy I built my portable MFT before this project so I can easily make these crosscuts on these long, wide panels. The rail hinge on the track saw definitely made this process super quick and accurate. For the most part, I was following my SketchUp drawing to get all these dimensions, but after making a few cuts, I find it's more accurate to use parts that I already cut to get the dimensions for the next parts. Like for the open shelves, I laid the long middle shelf on top of the top, put a cutoff from the leg at the end, and measured the leftover distance to the end. I didn't need to use the track saw setup for these smaller panels, so I ripped those to size at the table saw, and they are the perfect size based on my already cut parts and the material I'm using. All right, everything's cut to size. I did a rough sand to get everything nice and flat to prepare for the joinery. First, I'll work on the cabinet that will hold the drawers. Everyone always says that the domino is like woodworking on cheat mode, but it's not as magical as it appears in some videos. Sometimes there's a lot of thought in laying out where the mortises will be